Alright, so here we go. Another train show review. This time we're in Plano, Texas. This show was, back about a month ago on October 1st. This was actually a 2-day show on September 30th and October 1st. But I will say that a majority of the video was from the 1st. So that's when I'm saying that it is. There was quite a few people at this show. Even on Sunday, it worked out pretty good. I was a vendor at this show, and I've always heard that the January version of the show is better, but from what I've experienced between just good deals and sales combined, it seems like the fall show ends up doing better, but maybe I'm just strange in that way. This vendor right here, since I'm looking at him, I don't recall ever noticing this vendor being here before. And I think I remember talking to him, and he said he was from somewhere kind of far away, maybe like southeast, like Alabama or Florida or something. I don't remember, but anyways, this was a cool in-scale layout. I think they told me 120-ish coal hoppers on that train. So that's one of the beauties of in-scale. And anyway, some details about this show. Let's see here. For those of you that don't know, Plano is a suburb of Dallas, a northern suburb. And I live in Fort Worth, so it's, probably about a 45-minute drive for me with no traffic, which on a weekend there's not much. The admission for this show is $10. I don't think I've ever mentioned before, but this show actually had some clinics going on both days. So I don't know if you have to pay to go to those clinics. I've never went to one, but that is pretty cool that they have that. So, given that it's a large show and the admission price is, average, that's pretty cool that they have those. Here's some S-gauge stuff, both the layout and then the stuff on the table in front of us. Not a whole lot of S-gauge stuff in terms of sale items at this show. I guess I can kind of get into what I saw at this show. I counted 230-ish, let's call it, 230 vendor tables at this show. As you might recall, there's a pretty cool view of that E-unit there. But as you might recall, the very first video that I did of train show reviews way back in January was this same show, the winter version, spring version, whatever you want to call it. And I didn't actually count the tables back then, but I would assume that we are close to the same amount. I know that they had room for me to come in last minute, so they must have not sold every single table that they wanted to, but they still had it full. The $75, I believe, tables now might have might play a role in that. Tables are going up, so for any of you that want to be a vendor, that is something that I might want to mention. There's some toys. Not a ton of toys. I think I counted like 5 or 10 total tables of toys out of the 200 plus, so that's not bad if you're, not wanting to see toys. There's a nice in-scale layout. But to keep up with my point that I was getting at before, it was roughly half of all tables were HO, and about 25% were O gauge, and then everything else was that remaining 25%. Probably about 15 tables, 16 tables, I think I counted, was in scale, which that's a pretty good amount given how small in scale is, I feel. A couple of really nice layouts. That last one that had that city scene that we just looked at, that was really nice. And then this one, this is always a nice layout to look at. I actually got to look at it a little closer in terms of the video that I was able to get. I rewatched the video from the spring show and noticed that I didn't really get all that close to this layout, so I'm glad that I was able to get a little closer. Everybody can see it. To the right, you can see, I think this was Harris Hobbies. And then up here would be, as you can see, that's the name of that club that has that layout. Up here to the right, which I'll show in just a minute, that's Brad's Trains. And then later on, you'll see Spring Creek Model Trains. I believe those are the 3 big retailers that were at this show, which is, it's pretty good. This is about the biggest show in definitely in North Texas. I think there's technically bigger shows in south of here. The New Braunfels show, I think, might be bigger, which there'll be a video coming out on that here pretty soon. Let's see here. In terms of the layouts that I saw, I counted, let's see here, I counted, 14, 12, I think I got 14 layouts at this show. So that's pretty impressive. We had an O gauge layout, 3 S gauge layouts, 6 in scale layouts, 2 HO layouts, an ON30 narrow gauge layout, and 1 G scale layout. And so right here, we're actually making our way out of the big room. And from here, you can go left down a hallway with rooms off of it, and you can go right down the hallway. So we go left, and this picks us up at one of the rooms that you get into. Later, we'll go to the right, by the way. But this room has 3 or 4, 5 vendors in it. So a little bit of S-gauge stuff there. Here's some t-shirts. We got some just miscellaneous parts. And then here's some more S-gauge stuff. This room has the S-gauge layout, so there's S-gauge stuff in here as well. This is a pretty cool S-gauge layout. S-gauge is kind of not very popular with many people, but this layout is definitely one of the more impressive ones. They managed to capture a lot of the fun with the accessories in this layout, and they get plenty of trains running on this layout as well. So that one's, if you ever get a chance, go and check that one out. And go back out into the hall, more HO. We got some O gauge and all that fun stuff coming back down through here, some apparel. This hallway, you're actually walking back down towards the entrance. So if you could imagine this building is kind of like a dog leg, like a Z, you might say, shape, with a big giant room kind of connecting it all in the middle, which this big giant room is right here. This is actually a spot where the video started. So this back here is where we're kind of going back to the right. And here's this was all pretty cheap stuff. I actually considered buying some of that track down there. I probably should have, but got some more HO. And if you're counting along, if this video, whenever I don't count along, I feel like there's more HO than I actually count. But I did count, and it's right at half. Let's see here. What do we got going on here? Parking here is free, so let's just kind of talk about the access to this show. You got free parking, although I have heard rumors that might be changing. There's some G-scale stuff, by the way. Don't see much of that. Free parking, plenty of parking, really. Don't have any issues. There's no parking garage, just a big parking lot. And it is close to the main road. Highway 75 is probably, a half a mile from this building. Plano Event Center, I think is what it's called. I'm trying to remember what the name of this show is. I think it's like the North Texas fall model train show or something like that. There's a North Texas in there somewhere, I believe. But in terms of how this actual show went, in terms of my opinion, I think I've mentioned the last time on the show that I was pretty disappointed. I wasn't quite as disappointed this time, maybe just because I was expecting disappointment. I did find a few things. Actually, what kind of saved this show was me going back on a Sunday. I was a vendor, so I had to be there anyways, but being there on a Sunday, it does have its perks sometimes. Managed to just be at the right place at the right time and find a guy that was needing to get rid of some stuff. So that helps. So I would, if you have the time and you can, you're not too far from home, I guess, go on the second day. You just never know. This here is Spring Creek, and they are kind of in their own little room, as they usually are. I don't know if I've ever seen them in a different room at this show. I think they had, my goodness, maybe 12 tables by themselves in this room. So you could go in there for like an hour and look. So I would say this is probably at least a 4-hour show in terms of like how long you could just stay there and just look and look and look. But back to what I was saying, I mean, this show is worth a pretty good drive. If I might be contradicting myself from previous video, but it is a train show, and like many of us do, we love train shows. So 3 or 4 hours, on your way into town, get you some good food. Dallas, I'm sure, has plenty of other things that you would enjoy doing. So go hang out at the train show in the morning. Then, go see a game, museum, go to the aquarium, whatever you might be wanting to do. There's probably something for you to do. So it's worth your drive, even if you're coming from a different state. Let's see here. Don't know if I have a whole lot of other comments to make on the show other than just showing you the rest of it. This video is about 15 minutes long, which, here's an interesting view. This is an in-scale layout. This guy, I know these buildings were 3D printed, and I'm pretty sure they're actually real buildings somewhere. There's the flyer if you want to pause the video and take a look at it. I think there's another, here you can see the guy taking the roof off. That was pretty cool. There's another flyer over to the left that I'm about to show. Just a really well detailed layout. It kind of reminded me more of like an architectural model kind of setup than a train layout. So here's another big room. You got a guy that I think he repairs locomotives. The train doctor is what I think he calls himself. And here's the G-scale layout. If you saw to the right there, at the very beginning, you can see an auto rack, so that's pretty cool in G-scale. Then back across the room here, you can see some more stuff. Before I forget, if these videos are helpful to you at all, please give them a like. I would appreciate that. Also, subscribe to my channel. I hope to be getting some more videos out soon, so I appreciate that. This is my stuff here, the Railroad Company of West Plains, so look me up on Facebook if you want to contact me. But we're getting close to the end, so enjoy what I have left here, and please let me know if you need anything. Comments are always welcome, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you next time.